Okay, we're recording away. Um, so um, we need to welcome other folks that have allowed you to be here today. It could be your staff, it could be your husband, your wife, it could be your grandmother that gave you a special secret code to this inner world or to the sacred spirituality that we're starting to reimagine. It could be the ancestors that have allowed you to come here today with me, or you've been drawn into this particular practice. We need to honor all of those people. It could be the babysitters. It could also be the fact that we have the earth beneath our feet, the sky above us. We have the four-leggeds, the creepy crawlies, the scaled ones, the feathered ones. And who did I miss? The four-leggeds? The creepy crawlies, maybe. So we also have the five elements. We have earth, fire, water, wind, and nature itself. We're here on the backs of that. We're here on the backs of this ceded and unceded territory. No matter where you come from, the land was once belonging to to indigenous peoples, and before that to perhaps to the Candomblé, and before that perhaps to ancestors that we don't even know. Locally here in Vancouver, we have the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Capilano folks that are here, and we have also in my home, we have lots of visitors that have come to visit. Some of you have been in my home and have blessed my home. I feel like you walk with me and I carry you here. So all of these people we need to, and all of these entities and all of these ancestors and all this ground that we stand on, this territory we stand in is very much a part of our meeting today. I want to take you on a very short little meditation and jumped into a very abbreviated version of the Rainmaker story, only to get that story back in the room with us, because we're going to wade into one part of it. So really exactly where you are, I don't want you sitting, full lotus with your spine erect. I want you to just open or close your eyes. Let me just guide you through a very relaxing, allowing meditation through a poem. You guys have done this with me before. If you want to follow along, it's a resting into natural great peace. This exhausted mind, beaten helplessly by karma and neurotic thoughts, like the relentless fury of the pounding waves in the infinite ocean of samsara. I want you to rest into the natural great peace that is here, without striving, without doing anything. We're simply resting into the territory that is beneath us, around us, above us. We're just allowing our bodies, our minds, our thoughts, our sensations, our feelings, everything to settle like in a glass of muddy water. We're just allowing it all to be there. It's so okay that it's doing its job of thinking and feeling, and right now we're just allowing that to be there while we just breathe into and rest into and allow ourselves to sit right down into this deep peace and joy and wholeness. And silent creativity and integrity and trust in the unknowing. We're allowing the phones to be phoning in the background. We're allowing everything to be. That must be my great-grandfather phoning. we're smiling and allowing ourselves to use my grandfather's call to take this silence and move into the story of this valley that was happened in a once upon a time place, a once upon a time time, and a once upon a time moment in our lives where the butcher and baker and a candlestick maker were of course suffering because they had not seen rain in their valley for months. They had sent for everybody, and everybody including the engineers, everybody including the NASA rainmakers that were involved in modern technology came and left with their tail between their legs to no avail. Eventually, of course, they sent for a rainmaker after they had forgotten for months that the rainmaker was only 3 or 4 queendoms over. And they sent their youngest out to go and grab him and bring him along. Why? Because at this stage of the game, there was no water to wash the wounds, so people were dying. There was no water to allow the babies to be born healthy and strong. There was no water to wash the vegetables. There were no vegetables even to be had, and people were starting to get really unpleasant and even frustrated and even rascally and angry and raging with each other because the dust bowls with no rain holding the trees in the ground were now busting through center court and through down the alleyways and into the valley, back out into the valleys. But screeching with it was this howling that was getting under people's skin, and they weren't able to sleep. It was a nasty drought-ridden time, and it was desperate. But lo and behold, they sent for the rainmaker. The rainmaker came, of course, and what did he do? He stood there and took note of the wind. He took one look at the sky. He reached down and grabbed some soil and looked at the soil and watched it just sift through his fingers. And then, of course, as all rainmakers do, he took a little spit and spit it on the ground and had a look at that spit on the ground and said, right then, I know what I need to do. He said, I need a hut. I need 3 days, and a little bit of food and tea would be fabulous. Starbucks macchiato would be even better, but listen, no worries if none of that can be found. I am happy to just spend my 3 days in my hut. Okay, thanks very much. I'll be on my way. And away he went. He went in and said goodbye into his hut. And of course, after the first day, there was nothing going on. People were starting to look out. There was nothing. On the second day, they were starting to get even more rumbly. Oh my God, he's as bad as the NASA engineers, for God's sakes. On the third day, they started to gather at the center court, and they were starting to wonder if this guy was a fake or it was just all for show. He was just some charlatan that came to town, and they were all standing there on day 3 ready to wring his neck and welcome him out of the hut and strangle him or something. And when all of a sudden they looked up above them and saw, just like I can see right now, the clouds above me, and all of a sudden the clouds started to swarm and turn, and the next thing you know, the rains came, and the kids ran running through the fields and the rain washed all the dust all over off their naked bodies. All of a sudden the wounds are being washed, and all of a sudden there was plants they seemed to be coming up in a split second. And of course everybody started to gather around, including the dancers and the music makers. And they came and gathered around this rainmaker, who now was just sticking his head out and going, whoa, okay, it's raining. And he was very happy to have the rain on his face. And he got up and he dusted himself off, and he stood there and of course said, well, here we are. Okay, thank you so much. It's a miracle, everyone said. And they wanted to praise him and that he was some sort of God incarnate. He said, no, not at all. He said, well, what did you do? They asked him. How did you get the rain to come? It's something extraordinary. Nobody else could do it. And he said, well, the truth is, I came to the valley and I realized my mind was going this way, my body was going this way, my heart was doing some weird Irish 3-step jig, and I was completely out of alignment. And I really knew at the time that I just needed 3 days to put all these things back together again so that I could then be in my own alignment. And that was my job, and that's all I did for 3 days. And the food was great, and the macchiato was even better, and I really have to go now. My vegetables need attending to. Thank you so much for having me. I'll be on my way. And away he went. Right? That's the story. So last week we jumped into the story. This week we're going to look at what was he doing in that hut that got the rain to come in a drought-ridden valley that had been drought-ridden for months. Right? So that's part of what we're going to talk about today. And I want to use nature in these times, these turbulent times and these uncertain times historically. We have always gone to the stories. We've gathered around the fires, we've gathered around the temples, we've told stories, we brought them back. We've also gathered around nature, and not lost on any of you guys how important this story is in terms of bringing us back into our nature. There's outside nature, there's second nature, but I want to use outside nature to talk a little bit about what he did in that hut. So by the end of this, you guys can walk away with some very strong clues as to how to mobilize more of your own rainmaker. So can I do that by talking about caterpillars? Everybody's favorite, little creepy crawly is the caterpillar. And what happens with the caterpillar? What happens with caterpillars? It's fascinating, the research on it. I want to use the caterpillar to butterfly as the metaphor of what we're up against right now in these uncertain times, and what the rainmaker actually did in those 3 days. On day 1, he was a caterpillar. On day 2, he was in the cocoon. On day 3, he was reincorporating into the butterfly. He was starting to spread his wings, dry his wings, and then he could come out and do his butterfly thing. So what we know for sure about caterpillars, very interesting research on it. I want to tie in nature with modern research. What we know for sure is that in our history and in times like this, and at various times in our life, we go through these rites of passage when we're going from a young boy, a young girl, into a young woman or a young man, when we're stepping into motherhood or fatherhood, like Megan and her little baby are doing. If we are stepping into mentorhood and in the midlife, we're going through a rites of passage. When we're oh, beautiful, Mary Lynn's showing a beautiful blue butterfly. Nice, thank you. I don't know if you can see that. That's a blue butterfly, another story, another time. Thank you for sharing that. That's so great. But we use, traditionally in indigenous cultures, we use these times of maturation and development. What we do is to mark them with it's called a rites of passage. And we sometimes very often traditionally have gone out into nature. And what happens is that there's 3 phases of any rites of passage, and we're in the thick of this right now with this uncertain time. And why this rainmaker is so important right now is because we have to understand that we are in these 3 phases of any rites of passage, whether we're chosen to go out to the mountains and do a vision quest, or we have been thrown into a rites of passage through trauma or a car accident or a miscarriage or divorce or bankruptcy. Either way, what happens is we end up, the first phase we go into is the separation phase. We separate from that first, the world as we know it. And that is exactly what's going on right now. The world that we've known is now gone. How much is going to come back? How much is going to make it across the bridge and is going to be there when the butterfly shows up? It remains to be seen. All sorts of experts are giving us the lowdown and the prophecy and the timelines and all the rest of it. And that's because they don't know. We're all in this cocooning phase. So the first phase is separation. Then we go into the cocooning phase or the ordeal, or the liminal phase, the betwixt and between phase. That's exactly where we are right now. We've already left the old world. There's some pieces of it that still exist, and we're in the middle world. The cocooning phase. Literally in Ireland, they're asking people to cocoon. So we know that, and we don't know. We're reimagining what the world could be like, or what our butterfly could look like. But eventually, the third phase is the reincorporation phase, or the butterfly phase, right? We go from caterpillar to butterfly via way of goo, of cocooning, of that dark matter. We really turn into the mud. We have to work with our mud. We have to allow the stillness and the mud to have its way with us. Another way of saying it, the caterpillar, the research on the caterpillar does this. What triggers a caterpillar to go into start this transformational phase is when the caterpillar starts to consume more than its body weight in a single 24-hour period. It literally is the tipping point that turns off his deconstruction, his or her deconstruction. It starts the dying phase. Then ends up somehow all into some sack of goo, which eventually then turns into the caterpillar. But what triggers it is that the caterpillars consume more than its body weight in a single 24-hour period. That's exactly what we've been doing as a culture in our world. We have been consuming way more than our body weight. We have been running roughshod over culture, over people, over languages, over rituals, over people, over minorities. And we're having to now pay the price of, now we have to die. We have to die. Some people are not going to make it. Some parts of ourselves are not going to make it. It's going to be hard for us. Some parts of the economy are not going to make it. There is a huge dying phase that's going on right now. And then we're going to end up in this cocoon. Some people are saying now until July. Some people are saying 18 months. We're going to be reimagining in this cocoon phase what our butterflies are actually going to look like. So that's the first point, is that we are mimicking now. We can look to nature to mimic truth and beauty and wisdom. And this story is no different. What he did is he jumped into the rainmaker hut, or into his hut, made it into his own hut, reimagined it, and did his cocooning along with everything else he had to do to keep himself going and get himself back into alignment so that he could come out and go back to pollinate his vegetables and be the rainmaker that he is. So he got in touch with more of his gift. He was able to help in the village, and he was able to transform other villages and save valleys from all sorts of, destruction and whatnot. So we all have gifts that we probably need to dip into. We have all sorts of strengths and resources that are rainmaker and otherwise resources and strengths that we need to bring to the village. The second thing about these cells, the cells that are the caterpillar, and this is so fascinating. What triggers, once it's triggered, then what they call imagio cells now start to eat up the caterpillar. The imagio cells literally don't start at one end of the caterpillar, if this is the caterpillar, and eat their way all the way through. So it dying, dead. No, the imagio cells show up all over the body, all simultaneously at once. So there's dying that happens in different pockets all around the world, just like this virus, just like there are some literal dying going on in this world. And we are leaving our old culture, our old way of doing things. And the caterpillar is showing us how to do that. Eventually, with all the dying spreading and rippling out all over the caterpillar, the thing turns into like a cocoon of goo. And then there's a period of time it has to wait to reimagine itself. And those imagio cells are dreaming, that they call them imagio cells that start the dying. They are imagining the butterfly. They are imagining the new world. This is what we're having to do right now in this cocoon phase. We need to reimagine how we are wanting to be in this world, how we want to mobilize ourselves into the new, into our new world. And what we bring to the table, what our gifts and our strengths coming out of this cocoon phase, is vital for us reimagining civilization and culture. This is not lost on you guys. I'm just reiterating it. There's one more point I want to say about this, this caterpillar, our little buddy caterpillar who starts to deconstruct. There is usually a little pigment of, let's say, red on the back of a butterfly, of a caterpillar. It could be blue, it could be purple, it could be yellow, but there's usually that little pigment turns into, despite going through the middle phase of that goo, of just being literally black muck, actually turns into a huge patch of red on the caterpillar's wings. So the very imagio cells, the imagination cells, actually bring, that might be might be the red color, actually end up much bigger and brighter on the caterpillar wings in the transformation phase. What does that mean? It means that we have everything at the beginning and during the middle and at the end to reimagine our lives. We have everything we need to do. If we're going to do our hut practice well, we need to bring things into alignment with our mind, with our bodies, with our hearts, our psyches. Psyche's symbol is butterfly. So we're going in, and that's what this man did. This is what you as women, men as men will do really well, is get into this hut and spend the time deeply negotiating, realigning, and doing whatever it takes for us to mobilize those imago cells into who it is we really want to be. Now, not lost on you guys that this is an incredibly potent time for all of us to be doing this. This is not just happening in Vancouver. This is not just happening in small town India or Ireland or Indonesia. This is happening all around the world. So while there is some dying, literal dying, that we're going to have to bury some people, we are. We're going to lose some people. We're also going to have to lose some of ourselves. There's going to be parts of us dying, so that we can then reimagine and be part of this whole new re-enculturation, if you will, reimagining local and global village. It is so evident now. I think Mary Lynn and I were talking that this is such a local global village now. There is no separation. There is no separation between the majority and the minority. We are all human. This is the great equalizer. And so we all have the same color blood. We all can go through this transformation if we're willing to jump into the hut, if we're willing to deepen our practices, and we're willing to learn from the Rainmaker. We have an opportunity to be part of that reimagination. And the reimagination is Psyche is the butterfly is here, which is image-based. And so it is about mind getting together with the body and then really paying attention to our dreams and journaling and what nature's coming to us, our synchronicities. We need to be pulling cards. We need to be throwing runes. We need to be consulting with our oracles, our people. And we need to be mimicking nature. Every single time we have gone through a huge upgrade in our history, people have gone into nature. They've gone into the fire. They've gone into create fire so that they can gather around and tell stories. So very important to mimic nature, especially when we're in a cocoon phase. We've left the old world. I don't know if you guys are getting this. There's some things that are there that are the same. But you walk outside, I walked out today, and it's like, whoa, it's just barren. There might as well have been no rain. Everybody's hiding in their houses, everybody's hiding away. And we need to. This is a complete cocoon phase that we're in. And we're going to come out of it. Some of us are going to come out ahead of the game more than others. Let's face that. Let's be real about that. So I want you guys to ask yourselves, what is one Rainmaker practice that you need to bring, that you need to deepen, that you need to enrich in, that works for you? What can you write in the chat there? What is one Rainmaker practice that you have that really works, that you need to do more of, or take more seriously, or that you need to fan the flames of again? Because this is the time for each of us to be calling on what we know to work, right? Wisdom is what works. Rituals are what work. We do rituals because they work. Going into a hut practice every day, like I'm taking people into the hut practice of the Instagram Live starting next Monday at 7:31 every morning, 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm taking people into that hut for 10-15 minutes. It's free. It's on Instagram Live. That's enabling me to spend even more time in the hut, aligning myself with what is my new imagination of my new world, of my new family, and how I need to carry myself. So you guys are all welcome to do that. But what is, write in the chat, if you will, a practice that that you have been that works for you, that is reliable, that you probably need to do more of. And let me know, yes, from Amen and meditation and prayer, absolutely. And it may be a particular kind of meditation that's really speaking to you. It may be a very succinct prayer. It may be a succinct prayer that's um, like a mantra, like let thy heart's will be my will, like not my will be thy will. Like it could be Om Mani Padme Om. It could be Om Namah Shivaya. It could be love, love, love. It could be a sun salutation with love and a jumping jack. So some more things coming in here. Sacred listening. Yeah. In the cocoon phase, we have to be able to get good at listening, right? That is what we're doing. We're listening to with our ears to the sounds. We're listening with our bodies to what's around us. We're listening to the inner psyche as things are speaking, as things come up and they speak to us. We're listening to our dreams. We have ears for all sorts of things. We're listening to the bird songs. Sometimes when we're in our hut practice, we have little creepy crawlies that are talking to us, little ants that crawl across, spiders, and oh, hi, little spider. And that little spider somehow got a message for us to build a web. And the next thing you know, we're building a web that has no weaver, right? John Stan has joined us. Thank you, John, and welcome, John. So we can be the web that has no weaver. We can be the snake that needs to shed a skin. We can dial into sacred listening. Laughing is beautiful. Thank you, Hannah. It's so great, lest we forget. Oh my God, John and I had great teachers who used to make us laugh all the time, laugh at everything, and belly laughs. In the thick of this, I don't know if you guys saw that beautiful Hopi prayer, but it is a time for us in this dying and rebirthing time. It is a time to be dancing and singing and praying and laughing and being silly. Yes, knowing am universal love. Yes, that we are the universe, right? You know, it's a good segue into that last part of the hut practice that I want to share with you guys. That, you know, when we did our meditation, did I ask you guys to go to a certain state? Did I ask you to follow your breathing? Did I ask you to follow a mantra? Did I ask you, or did I ask you just to rest into natural great peace, right? It was just, I just asked you to allow things to be as they are, didn't I? I didn't say, you know, let's strive, let's do some spiritual seeking to get to this peaceful state after doing my Hail Marys and my 4 Om Mani Padme Oms and my, you know, and my sacred zikr, you know. I didn't ask you to do anything like that. I just asked you to settle and rest into and allow things to be as they are. Didn't I? Yeah, I did. And so we in the Rainmaker story, that's a big hint, people. That's we need to deepen our meditation, not to serve some other thing at a different time in a different place. There's different meditations for different kinds of intentions and different places and different ceremonies. I want to say this meditation that I'm talking to you about, and we're going to be doing lots more on Instagram Live. I'm going to guide you through it, but every day is going to be a little bit different, is going to be dedicated to the hut practice, what the Rainmaker does mainly, which is just to bring himself into alignment by allowing things that don't belong to leave, by allowing him to just settle into what is already here and asking the question, by just allowing, instead of trying to get somewhere in our spiritual seeking and our spiritual attainment or our drivenness, the key thing I want you to walk away with today is that we function the best. We can align ourselves the fastest. We can be the healthiest and strongest in our vitality, in our immune response, in our brain waves, in our mind's ability to be able to focus and let go, and 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 mobilize the right kind of symmetry and dance with our hormones and all those and fantastic cells that can be mobilized inside of us. We can mobilize all of that the best way by doing the Rainmaker practice, which is just allowing things to be as they are, not trying to get to a state or to a breathing level or to a particular, um, quality of peace or something like that. No, it's about us just being able to rest into it. And so most of us are trained in the inner life and in our hut practices to do certain things. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need the meditator to actually get us to sit down at the pillow. We do. The meditator is important to get us to the pillow or to get us into the hut, that part of us that needs to get us there. But then paradoxically, we need to let this meditator go. We need to allow ourselves to rest into now what is already here. Otherwise, the meditator will go to bat and start lifting weights and spiritual weights and start trying to, get to a certain level of achievement in his practice in order for him to be able to then feel better about himself. No, the practice that we need right now, I'm suggesting, the Rainmaker is suggesting, that is the Rainmaker practice, the hut practice, is the one that allows us to completely be in relationship with all that is, the am universe, the I am universe. Who wrote that down? John, Mary Lynn. Yes, thank you. So we are already whole. We're already amming. We're already I-amming. We're already that amming, actually. We already are that. We already are complete. What the Rainmaker did is to jump in to the cocoon. He jumped in and just allowed nature to take its course. He just allowed his mind to come gradually back over and just settle like the glass of muddy water, just like that's all been stirred up because of life, because of where we find ourselves, and just allow everything, the thoughts, the turbulence, everything to just be as it is, and the heart to go out and do its whatever it was doing and to come back, and the body to do its thing to come back. And I want you to kind of live this question of, I wonder how I can deepen my Rainmaker practice now. I'm wondering how. You already have a Rainmaker practice. You are already whole. I want you to deepen it. I want you to wonder about it. I don't want you to answer the question. I don't want you to come up with, okay, well, here's 3 ways I can do that. I want you to just live. How can I deepen my Rainmaker practice now? And now it might be that I just need to be quiet. I need to do some listening. I need to do some real active listening. And in fact, I need to really hear deeply. So I'm going to go outside like Amin is and sit on my car, I think, sit on a bench or something. I'm going to go and I'm going to go down to the beach so I can really hear, that natural, oh, look at that, a beautiful garden. Yeah, nice. Amin's in a beautiful garden. Maybe that's the best place for her to hear. Some people it's by the beach. Some people it's in the forest. Some people it's in their homes in a particular area with their puja table where they can just feel the alignment just naturally coming back. In other words, the Rainmaker is interested and curious about discovering what happens when I leave everything to be as it is. If I allow everything to be as it is, if I just let the meditator go and just rest into everything that already is. If we wonder about how we can do more of that and we live that question, people, I'm thinking that we can we can really do a good job in our cocooning. And I think we can then be more aligned with that butterfly that is going to come out of this. All of us are being transformed right now. And so if we live the question, then we live the mystery. We live the mystery of I am. We don't know what I am is. My hope next week in the live, in the Instagram live, is to us to just keep opening space around that mysterious I amness, so that we become like an I aming bunch, a local global amers, like, because I aming is what we need to be doing in motion, right? We need to be restoring, not restored. We need to be restoring as we go along. We need to be I am-ing. But we first need to get dialed into that beautiful practice first thing in the morning. So that's my offering to you guys. Now, let me just unmute everybody. I'm flinging a lot at you here, and I want to just unmute all. And please jump in here and let me send some feedbacks my way. Any comments, any questions, any confusions about that? You can use chat, or you can, and I think you have to unmute yourself in order for you to say something. Hi, Dawn. There, I see you. Any questions?
Michael, what came to mind was I amore.
Oh, one sec, Penelope. I can't hear you. I've got unmute all. I've hit everybody. So why can't I get Penelope? You're
you hear me
unmuted.
now? Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Can you write something?
Yeah.
Can you put it in the chat? Because I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. Why? I've unmuted all. Yan, are you on this call? Help. Maybe Yan's texting me and telling me how to do this. No, Yan. Okay, so you guys can hear me.
We can hear each other.
Your speaker's up?
You have to communicate with me by writing in the chat. So there's a little chat there, it'll come up, and then maybe I can then answer some questions that way. So please use the chat to Amen. Is your speaker volume on? Try that. There, I just turned it up. Penelope, try going.
Okay, can you hear me?
Ta-da, miracles of miracles. You see the butterfly. It just was like jumping out of the cocoon. Leave.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
I was thinking of using the word amore as I amas, the Italian word for love.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Amore.
Amore, beautiful. Love
Yeah.
it. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Well, Rumi says, right? We don't have to so much try to love so much as we have to remove the barriers to love, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the idea of this practice is there's nothing to do. It's just to rest into it. Now our minds are going to get busy and bored and let's move on and there's got to be another way and there's got to be another trick and, because we're all kind of like growers and, we always want to stretch, but I'm telling you that this is the most profound meditation if you really want to allow yourself to settle in. Happy for you guys to jump in with me next week or do this on your own in your own way. But it's very, very, it's called true meditation for this reason. It's not, true meditation is just simply being. It literally means, when John and I had the same teachers, meditation means simply being. Keyword, simply being. How do we know how to do it? It's a huge and simple thing to do, to just be. But it's also very challenging in our modern world. So amore is like that. It's like being. It's all about the love, right? It's the amming. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Penelope. Yeah.
Michael, can you hear me? Mary Lynn?
Yes. Yes.
What do you focus on that type of meditation? Like, is it with a candle? Is it on your breathing? Is it just saying the word I am? Like, what would be the actual practice for people who haven't done it before?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that. This is the trick question, right? Because, okay, so then if you're just allowing yourself to rest into what is already here, or rest into natural great peace, then there is nothing to focus on. And that's the whole point, is to get the meditator and the mind and the focus and the strategy out of the way so you can just be settling more and more into what is. If we're focusing on a mantra or a breath or a candle or a particular technique or a strategy, what we're doing is we're trying to do that so that we can get to in a peaceful state or a more equanimous state or a more compassionate state. But this meditation is the opposite. It's about, let's take the strategist out of there, which is usually the meditator, the seeker, and just allow ourselves to just settle right into what already is here. Because what is already here is that equanimity, is that peace, is that joy. And that's why it's called a true meditation. And that's why it's very difficult for a lot of people. But for people who have just begun, they are miraculous at this, who just start out brand new and can do this very easily. The people who have meditated a lot have a hard time just giving up the meditator and just allowing themselves to, you mean I don't have to do anything? No, you don't do anything. You mean even not even doing anything is too much? Yeah, it's too much. So it becomes this, it's a really good question, Marilyn, but that's the hope. So on Monday, please stay with me for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if you can, if anybody of you can. I really want to train you gradually into you seeing for yourself from your own direct inquiry, not from me or my teachers, what your own experience is when you get the meditator and the strategist and the seeker out of the way and the focuser. What happens for you when you just allow things to be as they are? And then when you do allow things to be as they are, then what are you discovering? Because that's the mystery that we're after in the end. Is that helpful?
Thank you. Michael, I wanted to ask quickly, that was wonderful. Thank you. That was beautiful. And I understood everything clearly. So, in terms of Instagram, and I'm not on Instagram, so I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And is there anybody like, and what's the offering? Is it once a day? Is it once, like, what time?
Funny.
And by the way,
Yeah.
I've lost my front teeth.
What?
So I have lost my front teeth.
Wow. Look
They
at
fell
you.
3 weeks ago. My $10,000 implant work fell out of my mouth.
Oh no.
I will indefinitely have no dentist to attend to it.
Oh dear.
So this is a very big challenge for me because I'm looking at the meaning of it for me, like losing face, what is this about?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Yeah.
And I'm like, first thing I thought of is I have to put it in perspective, and there's a whole lot of suffering. I'm not in pain. And so if all I've lost is my image, well, who cares, right?
Yeah. Some of this, even this stuff is going to go, but to your good for you, Marilyn, it sounds like you're handling that very well. The Instagram thing is really easy. It's just you just download the app, and then you just join Michael Talbot-Kelly. It's all lowercase, all one word, no hyphen, and that will get you dialed into my account. And then you will see from there. I'm going to get Yan to send out some other instructions. So like together, we're going to, my IT guy and I, he's going to help us send out some instructions. But my understanding is it's pretty simple. You just, you sign up for an account. There's no fee. It's a free account. You do a little profile, and then you end up with, your name, Marilyn or Dawn or Penelope Peak or whatever it is. And then people can choose to follow you or not follow you. What you do to get onto the live event next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning at 7:31 for 10-15 minutes is you just have to follow me. And that becomes obvious once you're on Instagram how to follow. Like they just say, okay, I want to follow Michael Talbot-Kelly. You can punch in my name, add them up, and then you'll click on follow. And
is it interactive, or is it just like we're all silent and watching you?
It's, as far as I know, it's very much like this, except that you get to write in comments and they just start to appear on the screen.
Okay.
For me. So I'm teaching you meditation, but what will happen and I'll say, and you might say, hey, good morning, or you might say, hey, MTK, weird haircut or something. You might just get, make a comment that'll come up to me, and I'll know you're there, and then I'll just do like I did today, was just basically teach this meditation and provide an opportunity for you guys to just drop into it. And so it'll be a guided meditation every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning at 7:31 Pacific time. So Dawn, that's different for you. Yeah. And but it'll also be recorded, so you can actually, if it's too late, if it's you're at work by then in where you are in Toronto or in London, you can also then you download the recording for within 24 hours. You can listen to it within 24 hours, in other words. So even if you don't make it to the live, which is very much, there's a lot of presence in the live one. I've done a couple myself and with other people. It's very beautiful. It's a very, very loving feeling, and very warm, and so it might be me and a candle, taking you through a guided meditation, something like that, in my chair. I'll bring you into my little temple, and then you guys can interact as much as you want. But I won't be able to talk directly to you so much as it, and then it'll be recorded, and then it'll be on my Instagram account for anybody to go and click on for the first 24-hour periods. After 24-hour, it goes. So, but I'll send that information to you guys. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other comments or questions about the teaching, the Rainmaker practice? You get that he was a rascal, right? I mean, him spitting on the ground. I mean, what does that do? Like, right? So yeah, anything else about this that I just really want you guys to be stepping. Amon's comment, she goes, "Who needs Jan, my IT guy, when Amon's here?" It's true. Yay, Amon, she got us working here. Thank you so much. Yeah, Amon, you're my next. You're an even better person to call on in the call. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so really, for you guys, that there's lots of stuff on self-care. We don't call it a Rainmaker practice in my website yet, but there's lots of free videos on self-care. There's lots of articles, all the blog posts on what we did last year. We did 10, 12 different blog posts on self-care, and that's about how to do really good hut practice, right? There's lots of what else is there? There's a free PDF for the self-care pyramid, that to do your cardio, to do your yoga, to do your meditation, to get yourself into that alignment. That's on my freebie section on my computer. There's more stories there. We're going to continue with stories. I don't know if this Rainmaker is going to let me move on to the next one. I thought last week I'd move on to start talking about death and talking about dying and talking about my favorite topic, but it hasn't let me go. So I don't know, by next week I will let you know if we're still going into more of a deep dive with the Rainmaker, especially during the week, what happens in the meditation, the early morning meditation. I don't know how it's all going to work together, because next Thursday at 1 o'clock is going to be another story time, right? And we may just be still with the Rainmaker. I want us to deepen and deepen and deepen. I think for now, for all of us to be that cocoon and really get how important it is for us to be doing good self-care and really aligning ourselves with this amming business and this loving business is going to allow for the Rainmaker to get mobilized in all of us. And then, of course, I really want you guys to live the question. I wonder how I can mobilize more of my Rainmaker, right? I wonder how, Dawn, you can bring more of your Rainmaker to work, right? Like, Amen, how do you bring that Rainmaker to your kids, right? To the people in your work, Penelope, your people that you're having FaceTime tea with, or the people that you're walking with, that to keeping your village work going, right? I mean, how can we bring more of that village work, bring more of that Rainmaker energy to that village? I think it's crucial right now, absolutely crucial. So does this make sense? Yeah, is this helpful? We're getting to the end here, and I wanted to just, does anybody have any other comments or um, questions? You will be getting informed about these two things running simultaneously, the early morning meditations and how that works. And honest to God, Instagram is so easy. People, don't be intimidated. And then the ongoing Zoom every Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. We're just going to go through we've got 13 stories for sure that we're going to go through. Just some of them are just not letting me go. So we have to stay with them for various reasons.
Michael, I have a question.
Yeah.
For those who are really stressed over finances because they've lost every piece of revenue that they had, such as myself, and there's nothing, I don't qualify for anything. So I'm going to be real pickle very, very soon. How do I stay focused on being useful love, for example, when my daily routine is going to be severely disrupted potentially? I mean, I don't know how I'm through. So how do I not be preoccupied with, very basic survival?
Yeah, very good question. Very good question. And it is the case for so many of us are worried about how is it that we're going to be able to keep ourselves going in the thick of this. So it's not the right thing to be sitting in your, and I'm not suggesting this, and I know you wouldn't be thinking this way, but just to be really clear, we don't want to sit in our hut and, be in our hut practice all day long. One of the best things we can do about surviving and making sure that we have enough money is actually going out and doing research about, okay, what are the government incentives and their compensation plans, and do they have, because I have a similar question, for you, Mary Lynn, like, okay, so if they're being self-employed, what about entrepreneurs? What about small businesses? What about people?
I'm in a situation where I don't qualify.
Yeah, so there may be that, then you need to phone your local MLA office. You need to then find out a way, okay, is there still a way that I could, upgrade my existing entrepreneur, your existing driving, your driving service that you have? I think that's what you're talking about, isn't it?
I can't drive any seniors right now. There's not enough distance between myself and them.
Right.
And I can't be,
Yeah. So we have to take out, the short answer to the question is we have to move into our hut practice so that we can move from a place of strength as opposed to a place of fear. And then we need to, in order to address the fear of survival, we need to go out and say, okay, what can we do? Who are there going to be? Do I need to talk to family? Is there going to be the city of Vancouver going to compensate local businesses? Is it going to be that I have to get a limousine and drive elders around? Is the city going to, sponsor a loan for that, so that there's more than 6 feet, there's maybe 6 meters between you and I can see that you, Marilyn, in a beautiful big Cadillac, driving people around. Anyway, I don't know what the answer is, but I tell you what, if you go into the hut and you do some practice and you do your cardio and you do your yoga and you do your meditation, you do this alignment, and then go out into the world, go out and start knocking on doors or whatever you have to do, you'll find that there will be a way through this. I don't know it either. I really don't know it, Marilyn. Like, it's not evident to me that how this is all going to work. And I think it's not evident to probably a lot of people here that how it's all going to work financially, long term. People are cashing in RSPs, people are calling on family, people are going to loans, and the government's willing to sponsor people with bank loans and guarantee. There's various things. This is all going to be unfolding as we speak, to find out a way to do it. But I do know we have to be actively moving our bodies out into the world somehow and doing stuff to get things mobilized in that way, while simultaneously doing our meditation practice, so we can be paying attention to the signs and the little way synchronicities that are going on in our life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah. So I'm just noticing it's 6 after. Any other questions before I let you go? You guys can always write to me. I'm around. Please take really good care of yourself. I really want all of you to be that butterfly that's able to pollinate. What do butterflies do? They pollinate flowers. They go from plant to plant and they become pollinators, whereas the caterpillar is not that. It's the opposite of that. The caterpillar is something that just consumes it, you know, but here's the pollinator that's going to spread the love, spread the joy, and that's a good symbol for a rainmaker. So I want you guys out there spreading the love, spreading the joy. And if you're running into anything, you've got to get a hold of me, people. And let's keep going with this work. And it's a bit of a cocoon. We're in a little bit of a dark place. We don't know all the answers, like Mary Lynn is talking about. I'm sure for you, Dawn, and it's not clear for and for a few different folks here that it's not clear 100% how it's all going to work. This is the nature of the cocoon. So we might as well consciously jump in and do some more work in that in order to help ourselves. And then you're going to get some information about the Instagram Live. You're also going to get some information to jump in with me next Thursday at 1 o'clock. It's so great to see all of you. And if I can do whatever I can to support you guys in the thick of this, I'm going to do it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how, I'm actually really excited, secretly, really excited about this butterfly that's going to show up, because some parts of the program are never going to move on and transform. We know that, but there's a lot of people that are going to be coming out of this cocoon phase in a very different way, in a very beautiful way. So let's hold hands, let's do this together. And I'm sending you guys lots of love and lots of those deep hugs, right? Yes, the gradual bow, a hand on the heart, and a nice warm smile. And we'll see you soon.
Namaste.
Thank you.
I have
You're
a
so welcome.
question. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, so Amin, you have a question. Okay, look, for you guys that need to go, please go. Or if you want to stay, stay. I just wanted to make sure we finished on time. Amin, please, yeah.
Oh no, just your self-care chart. Am I allowed to share that with my clients?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
This
okay.
is no way. No, this is all for, I'm keeping it all, hoarding it all to myself. Photocopy away, share
Okay.
away, please. You know that. No, this is maybe what I did them for. I don't know. Please, yeah, it just helps people. It just helps people put things in perspective in that triangle, right? You know, just
I think especially for so far the clients that I do have, you know, just with all the social distancing, they are older, they're living in kind of group environments where they're on lockdown. So I feel like, you know, that's just some way for them to find something that they can fill their day with.
Yeah. Really good idea and a good focus again, because they'll be doing a lot of survival and yeah, please share away.
Okay.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. Yeah, take care. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.